At this time in WCW, Goldberg was a big draw there. How did you see that? What did you think of that character, his run?
Well, I was there at the time, and he came up. He was watching me in Orlando at one of the TV tapings, and he came up to me and he says, "Really honored to meet you, Greg. I'm a big fan." And I didn't know what kind of push he was going to get, but I remember, thank you. And then the push was Kevin Sullivan's idea, and I think he beat guys in 2 or 3 minutes for 6 months in a row, right? Bam, bam, he give him the whatever the hold was, and that really got him over. I mean, that's how to get somebody over. And Kevin Sullivan was a booker, and he got his ass over. He ended up hurting Bret Hart and a couple of people, but Goldberg is still over now because of that. People don't forget that, And he's a good athlete. He's a double tough. He used to be played with Atlanta Falcons. He's a tough son of a gun. And he knows how to talk, and he looks the part, and Goldberg's a big deal. He's only 50 or something now, so, you get closer to 60, it's hard to get in the ring.
This is kind of random, but do you remember wrestling on this Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view?
Oh, my God. In out of Louisiana at a casino, right?
Casino Magic in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Do you remember? What do you remember about
No,
this?
it wasn't in St. Louis. East St. Louis.
Yes.
East St. Louis, okay.
And you wrestled with George Steele. Sherri Martel was involved in this.
Yeah.
She was the manager, I believe.
Yeah, she came up and gave me a big wet kiss. That shocked me. But, yeah, it was just a goofy match. How are you going to wrestle George Steele? It was a goofy match. I was there for the payday. How did it end?
I remember Jake the Snake was supposed to do something, but I think he was a little inebriated, and then they kind of called an audible, and Yokozuna was somehow involved. Jim Neidhart. Yeah. Jake may have whipped it out or something.
Oh, that's when he exposed himself.
That's right.
Jake was drunk. He was really fucked up while he was high like 5 different directions. So he was inebriated. Is that the word you used? Yeah. And I don't remember what I did. It didn't matter what I did with George Steele because I was all goofy friggin' match anyway. I was just glad to get the payday. But I heard about it, and they had to switch the main event up, and everybody was really pissed. But Jake already had his money. This is some jabroni fucking promoter wanted to do a big, hey, I'm there for the payday. I'm always going to work the best I can, but how are you going to work with George Steele? He's eating turnbuckles, so I'm just glad. The only thing I remember is Sherri gave me a real sloppy kiss. God rest her too, and George Steele. I love George Steele as a person. I didn't like his wrestling, but he was over, so...